we'll discuss a couple of ways that will showcase these forms of teachings. And in the next slide, we're going to watch a little video that will kind of give you an example of ways that child-initiated play can then turn into sort of expanding literacy and numeracy development. So here we go. So we've got this video here. So let's just see if we can identify a few ways that the child might be learning on their literacy and numeracy development. It's a great video. I'll pop the link down there. We might not watch it all today because we just might not have enough time, but I'll play a little bit here for you and see if there's anything that you can kind of take from it. I will just touch on as well before I play it. This is obviously at a child centre, but it's just for the sake of an example. So obviously these sort of things also happen at home as well. All right, so we'll just watch it for a little bit and then we'll see what we can.
Would you like to help me find a vase to put them in? Yes. Where do you think we'll find the vase? There might be a little one, so if there's a little one, 2, 3, 34. That was fantastic. Yeah, but does it have any petals? No. I think we should put it in. You know what I mean? Do you think we should put it out where people can see it? Yes.
Did you count 34 by yourself? Where did you find them?
Underneath that tent.
I bet they like the rain. Do you know what? I reckon you could make the number 34 over there. If you go and have a look in that basket, you could see if you could find the numbers to make 34. Just looking for some numbers to make 34 for her flowers. Do you think she can find them?
I need 4 and it's not here.
Well, where do you think you could see a 4?
There is one over here, but I just don't want anyone to use it.
There is one over here. Yeah, where is it? Which one is it?
Can I have it?
Maybe you could just borrow it. I think you could borrow that because that was actually Isaac's. So if you're going to make 34 and put it in front of the flowers to say, I've got 34 flowers.
And what else do I need?
34.
30.
What's 30?
I don't know.
If it starts with the sound what's a number that starts with that sound when you're counting? 1, 2.
3.
So do you think you might need a 3? So when you put 34 like this, 30 looks like this. But then I have to add 4, don't I? So I put the 4 there. That's how I would write 34. So you've got 30.
All right, I'm just going to stop it there. Hopefully you guys sort of can notice what it is I'm talking about there. Did anyone sort of pick up on anything in terms of like literacy or numeracy? I feel like numeracy was definitely stood out quite a bit.
Yeah, I think like it was really cool because like I guess I do normally like if they've got like pieces of like sandwiches on their plate, I'd be like, all right, how many have you got left? And then like count it. And like we do a lot of like counting and stuff like and then like we try and do sounds, but that's still like a work in progress. So yeah,
no, I think it's good because obviously that I do think this was probably taken like the teacher did end up almost encouraging it a little bit too much, where it was almost became like the child was having to do what the teacher was sort of telling them to do. But I think just the sense that it started off as just the child sort of picking some flowers, but it also gave us that opportunity to sort of bring in your literacy development and ask the child, you know, how many flowers do you think there are, and get them thinking about numbers and that sort of thing. And you could always take an example like this as well further, and you can bring in colours and that form of literacy as well. So maybe asking the child, what kind of like coloured flowers can you think of or have you seen? And really get the children just sort of starting to explore a little bit more. But we'll move on now. So beautiful. So pretty much we're just going to start to sort of wrap this all up. So why, I guess, should we encourage loose parts play at home? So I've pointed out a few things here. Hopefully you guys have noticed a few key sort of key points as we've been going today, but it's stimulating and engaging. It's open-ended, so it's something that you can set up for a child, and then pretty much the child can sort of take that learning whichever way they choose. Encourages creativity. So it definitely gets the children sort of thinking outside of the box with different sort of provocations depending on what we can sort of present them with. It allows for children to explore and understand their worlds around them. So this might be through, if you're bringing in loose parts, say from your backyard, or if you're doing loose parts through the sense of maybe cooking inside your house, like they're understanding how measurement and that sort of thing comes into our day-to-day lives. It also enhances and encourages, obviously, yeah, like I was saying, their literacy and numeracy skills. And it also facilitates the children's development in problem solving, their evolving intelligence, and becoming deeper thinkers. So we'll just move on as well. So now we're just thinking maybe a few examples of what hopefully you guys can kind of take away of some provocations that maybe you could do at home. I know that when you're at home and you've already got so many jobs to do, you don't want to feel as though you're having to now go out and buy something else for the kids. So hopefully a few of these provocations are things that you could maybe already have in your house, so it's a lot easier. So it could be as simple as helping out with the household chores, so like sorting socks or something like that. Providing children, I know it sounds funny like giving them little chores to do, but they find something fun in like noticing where a pattern is and putting two pairs together and that sort of thing, and that's already bringing in your numeracy, through knowing how many pairs they might have, what is a pair, what equals to a pair, and that sort of thing. You could also do storybook provocations. So that's going to link into your numeracy. So if there's a book that your child's loving at the moment, you could maybe set up a little provocation where it kind of leads to open-ended play, but it links back to that book that you've been reading. So could be, I don't know, if your child loves reading about dinosaurs and there's a special dinosaur book, you could maybe set up a provocation with some loose dinosaur toys, and they can maybe link that back to the book in that sense. Yeah, exactly. We've also got finding items in the garden. So like we obviously saw earlier in that video, we had the little girl, she was finding flowers and that sort of thing. But also when we think of loose parts, it's almost nice to get like a little collection. You can keep it in Tupperware containers or whatnot to keep it organized, but that could just be a matter of collecting autumn leaves outside your house and sticks and twigs and little gum nuts or anything that like a child can play with in hand with something else. So I've mentioned further down, so Play-Doh with flowers. You could, for instance, have Play-Doh provided to a child and they could link that in. Oh, hello, little one. You could have that link to, exploring as well. So we've also got cooking here. So when I say cooking in terms of loose parts, that could be a matter of, bringing out the measuring cups and letting children understand volume and that sort of thing of what goes into that. And then number rocks, that's something also that's quite a cool little provocation. So pretty much you can go around with your kids, find some rocks and you can paint them. And pretty much you can represent the number, say, in our early childhood, obviously, you're kind of sticking towards that 1 to 10 numbers, but you can paint each rock with a number and then maybe have a separate set of rocks that also symbolize, say, how the number would look on a dice, for example. So you could have little dots and then the child sort of pretty much can work their way through the numbers in linking those two different types of representation of a number together. And finally, I've also got an example here of measurement and water play. So again, even if you're just giving a child a cup and some water and that sort of thing, they're exploring what like measurement is and volumes and that sort of thing through mathematics, just by literally seeing what cups can hold and what water like amounts to what sort of thing. So there are so many different ways that you can do this at home, just with things that are around you. And hopefully, I'm hoping that I've given you a few examples that you can kind of maybe go and take and do in your household with your kids, and hopefully maybe start to see, you know, what ways and literacy and numeracy is developing within your children at home. So yeah, hopefully there are a few different provocations for you there. But just to finalize today, I just want to have a little reflection and kind of check in with you guys and see if you feel as though, you know, you've come away with anything new that you've learned or anything that you found interesting. If anyone wants to speak up, it's always awesome to hear back what everyone's taken away from it.
Yeah, no, I love like that you kind of like incorporating them in cooking and like chores and stuff. I think like it's good that kids know that they need to be a part of the household too. And so like getting them to like, even if it is just socks and stuff, it's just like such a great way to kind of incorporate them as well. But then also like getting them into just loose learning, which is really cool. Like and then obviously like outside is so easy.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
so everyone has a garden, so yeah, so that's really good.
Yeah, no, it definitely seems all super simple when you put it out like that. Yeah, just integrating all those little types of things, getting them amongst it, and probably making a bit more of an effort.
Yeah, exactly. I think like the key thing to know is that it is something that's so simple but is so effective. So yeah, hopefully you guys can kind of come away from this with a little bit more of an understanding around loose parts. So yeah, if anyone has any further questions, just please feel free to contact me. Again, I popped my email down the bottom there. Yeah, hopefully you all have a lovely rest of your day. I know this was a short little webinar, but I hope that you all took a little bit away from it. So thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you all have a lovely rest of your day.
Thank you.
That was awesome. Thank you.